Hello and welcome to Breathwork and Lymphatic Wellness class number 7. And lucky 7, is going to be adding sound to the breath. So my name is Kathleen Helen, and I'm a lymphedema therapist. I'm board certified in therapeutic massage and bodywork. I'm also a health coach and a yoga teacher, and the author of the books Stress Reduction for Lymphedema and Mindful Strategies for Adults with Adverse Childhood Experiences. So what are we going to explore in class today? And I love how we have our fluffy bumblebee showing us the way. We're going to learn about the power of humming and the role of humming in our culture, which was very interesting to me when I was researching this. We're going to experience Brahmari, Om, chanting, and Hey Hu breathwork. And we're going to see the research behind how these have benefits in our body. But first, as we begin all of our classes, we'll begin with a mindful moment. And I'll encourage you to take a respectful yet comfortable position. Relax and ready to learn. Take a few deeper breaths. And bring to mind what you thought of when you saw what the title was of our class, when you saw what we were going to learn about today. Do you have any previous experiences with chanting or humming? What do you think of people who chant as a part of their self-care? And what questions might you have about these practices today? And as we always end our mindful moments and begin our class, we'll do it with some 5-5 breath work. So we'll inhale for the count of 5, exhale for the count of 5. We'll do it for about a minute and I'll keep the time. So we start with the exhale and then inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last inhale. And the last exhale. So we can return to our comfortable breath, breathing normally as we start our little flexibility portion. So I'll invite you to inhale as you look up. Exhale as you look down. Inhale and look up. Exhale and look down. Inhale, look up. And exhale and look down. Return your head to neutral. Inhale as you look left. Exhale as you look right. Inhale to the left. Exhale to the right. Last inhale to the left. And exhale to the right. Take the ear to the shoulder. Inhale to the left ear to the shoulder. Exhale, right ear to right shoulder. Inhale to the left. Exhale to the right. Inhale to the left. And last exhale to the right. Take our hands and put them on our shoulders. Shoulder rolls up and back. Really see how your range of motion is today. see if you can touch your elbows together. Really up, back, and down. And then reverse the motion. Seeing where our body is today. One more rotation around. And you can place your hands on your thighs. Okay, let's talk about our usual cautions. Anyone can come and listen to this whole presentation, the whole set of presentations, learn about the research behind these practices. But if you're going to actually sit and practice with us, lay down and practice this breath work, I want to caution you, if you have any type of symptoms that would lead you to believe that you should go to your doctor and ask your physician for permission to perform these breathwork exercises, please do not perform the breathwork until you get that permission from your physician. These are free videos. They will always be on the internet. There is no limited time to see them. There's plenty of time to learn and then go back and do the breathwork after you've been cleared by your physician, especially if you have any anxiety, any breathing problems, any cardiovascular or blood pressure issues. And then even if you're all good to go with your physician, you feel fine at the beginning of the practice, if anytime during the practice you have any symptom that's signaling your body, signaling you to stop, if you feel anxious, if you feel lightheaded or dizzy, if you are feeling a rapid heartbeat or shortness of breath or any other condition, any other symptom, just go ahead and stop. You can pause the video and wait. You can let the rest of us finish the breath practice and then join us again for the rest of the research portion. You can stop the video and just start it at another time. It's about your safety. Again, these videos are going to be free, and here in the future, don't feel like you have to push yourself through something if it's not working for you today. And let's talk about whether you're quote unquote ready for seated breathwork. There is nothing better about doing breathwork seated than it is laying down. And in fact, we've looked at research earlier in the class that shows that lying down while you do your breathwork has been shown by research to help improve the lymphatic system's functioning. So what they taught me in my yoga class is if you can breathe, for instance, 10 breaths a minute comfortably, normal breathing, you have to be able to lower it by a third. You have to be able to do 6 or 7 breaths a minute comfortably seated before you want to start going into some longer breathwork practices when you're seated. There is no reason why you should be seated for breathwork versus lying down. So if for any reason you feel better lying down, if you just want to give your lymphatic system more of a boost, definitely do your breathwork just like these wonderful ladies and people are in this video, and do it lying down. And then finally, when and how to practice pranayama. If you're going to use this as part of your yoga practice, pranayama should be started once the yogi has a solid practice of yoga. You should have an empty stomach, empty bowel, empty bladder, which means definitely go to the bathroom before you do your breath work. And then it's just a comfort issue with the empty stomach. We're moving the diaphragm around a lot, and that just feels uncomfortable if you have a stomach full of food. And then lastly, focus on nose breathing. If the type of pranayama, the type of breath work indicates that you can breathe through your nose to perform it, definitely think about breathing through your nose. There are so many benefits to nose breathing. So let's start by thinking of our culture and wherever we come from, the people we hang out with, what you see in movies and public spaces. People hum. It's a part of humanity, is this action of humming. Why do we hum? When do we hum? Let's look a little bit more about humming. And I want to use the thing that we actually do make noises by ourselves to kind of make, when we look into the chanting, to see how it's not that unusual to do chanting if you see that it's completely usual and natural to humans to hum. So when do we hum? I hum when I'm focused on something, when I'm kind of engrossed, when I'm happy. Humming while cooking, you can hum a happy tune while you're doing work. You know, they even say whistle while you work. These practice of making sounds, making noises just to please yourself while you're engaged in activity by yourself is throughout cultures, throughout practices. And even I remember as a child, my father would hum. So here's some images that I pulled up, like cooking. This lady is humming. You could see the little note by her head. She's doing some humming to herself as she's working absentmindedly, helping her perhaps to focus. And then also in groups. So when we're in and around other people, but maybe we're focused on doing our own work, but there are other people nearby, sometimes we will use humming as a signal in groups that we are doing something by ourselves. It's kind of like the Generation X version of having headphones in at the gym. Let's see some of the benefits of humming. So this research is showing us humming boosts nitric oxide synthesis. Humming boosts the quality of the innate nitric oxide production up to 15 times when compared to just calm exhaling. So this action of making a noise as we exhale is actually beneficial to our body. And we've learned a lot about nitric oxide and its benefits. So this is very interesting to me. And I think it's fascinating that in different practices across different cultures, we're utilizing humming as part of self-care, as part of religion. So let's look at the benefits of nitric oxide. It's a potent bronchodilator. So it's opening up these lung passages. Potent bronchodilator, vasodilator. It's opening up the veins. It's opening up two systems at once, which is fantastic. Therefore, it's helping lower blood pressure and significantly increase the lungs' oxygen absorbing capacity. Nitric oxide is also known to be antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial. How fantastic that this thing that we can do just with breathing can be a bronchodilator, a vasodilator, lowering blood pressure, and antifungal, antiviral, and antibacterial. So let's look specifically, what do we mean when we say humming? Because some humming sounds, the researchers say, consists of parts of recognizable melody. So sometimes you'll have an earworm and you'll be humming a song. But some are more just an impulsive vocal outburst with no identifiable musical gestalt. It's like it sounds like music because there's a tone-like character of the pitch movement, but it's not anything that the person has heard before or anything that they're trying to create into a piece of music, just like just like various tones that we're just using to amuse ourselves. So this wonderful researcher tells us the everyday understanding of humming is that people hum precisely when they're not engaged in interaction with other people. Hum when you're driving in the car, walking along the street, along an empty corridor, you'll see people start humming. And their interpretation of such behavior is that these people are happy in their own thoughts and they're not fully available for others. They don't expect you to be interacting with them. They don't expect to interact with other people. Humming is kind of like, I am in and of myself and I'm having an experience just with me. I'm not searching out other people to talk to. And this is really interesting because it mirrors the role that we have as social animals. And the researchers say for members of groups that are social animals, which humans are, silence can be a sign of danger. So therefore, on many occasions, ostensibly unimportant and haphazard hummings are signaling everyone can relax and go on with your business. So if you're working alone, or if they think that you might be mad at them, or they think that you want to interact with them, or they should be interacting with you and they're not sure if they haven't answered your question or not, kind of like looking at something, just being like, it shows the other people around us that we're not a danger to them, that we're kind of focusing on our own things of importance to ourselves, and we're not like about to pounce on anybody. So let's look at some types of humming that are incorporated into breathwork. So the first one we'll look at is Brahmari pranayama. And most of the breath work you'll see comes from Indian practice of yoga. We talked about yoga in the beginning of the presentation here, along with the term pranayama signals to you. Anything that's pranayama signals to you, it comes from India, comes from the practice of yoga, it comes from Sanskrit. So Brahmari, or bee's breath, buzzing, humming breath, it has the person, you'll see this lady, she's putting her fingers in a certain way on her face. So one or two fingers are either over the eyebrow and the eye to keep it closed, fingers along the edge of the nose, the other fingers along the edge of the mouth. And then this thumb's the important one. The thumb is actually closing the ear canal. So when she hums, when you hum, you can hear it reverberating because you've shut off hearing anything on the outside, you shut off seeing anything on the outside. You're really focusing on what's going on with the humming inside of your head, your nasal passages, your sinuses, your nose, your mouth, all the interior passages and places in your head. So what happens during Brahmari pranayama? You close your eyes, place the index and middle finger gently on the eyelids, the thumb on the ears. So close your ears, and the ring finger by the nose. Inhale through the nostrils for 5 seconds, and then you exhale slowly through the nostrils, making a deep buzzing sound in your nose and your throat, like a bee, or the sound of Aum. So Om, like and you can feel, like when I do it, I feel my lips buzzing. I feel it up in my sinus passages. It's really that deep internal sound that really is vibrating everything that I can feel inside of my face. And listen to that sound, feel the vibration. So it's the inhale for 5 seconds, exhale with this hum for 15 seconds. And then feel the vibration in the skull, the nasal passages, the throat, the mouth, the cheeks, and the lips. So what happens scientifically when we do this? The vibration of the nasal, the laryngeal mucous membranes during exhalation causes reflex apnea. So it turns off the inspiratory center, the thing that wants us to inhale, which results in bradycardia. So it's slowing down the heart through the sinu-aortic mechanism. Additionally, through the prolonged intentional expiration, breathing out, there is an elevation in intra-thoracic pressure. So the pressure right here, because we're keeping the breath in, we're not breathing it out really fast. This causes the blood pressure to be raised here, which activates the carotid sinuses baroreceptors. And then this elevated baroreceptor discharge blocks the vasoconstrictor nerves. It activates the heart's vagus innervation, and this could be the cause of the decrease in blood pressure and heart rate. So it's the slow expiration, it's the feeling of the buzzing. It has a difference. It's the keeping of the pressure here. It's directing the heart, hey, we're not exhaling a lot. We're not exhaling really fast. Let's lower the blood pressure. And according to research, regular Brahmari pranayama practice has been demonstrated to lower blood pressure and also treat migraine and chronic headache issues. And doing Brahmari pranayama while exhaling through the nose encourages the creation and release of nitrous oxide. We heard before, we heard some of the benefits of that. And nitrous oxide creation widens the artery, promotes the flow of blood, maintains the heart's oxygen supply. So what about the lymphatics and blood pressure? Why is this interesting to people who want to think about the lymphatic system in breath work? Studies have suggested that the lymphatic system is implicated in the pathogenesis of cardiovascular disease, lymphedema, inflammation, atherosclerosis, and myocardial infarction. However, the linkage between the lymphatic system pathogenesis of hypertension remained unclear at the time of the publication in 2020. More research is coming out late 2024 and early 2025 that really cements this, that really says there is a relationship between lymphedema and hypertension. And they did find, even back in 2020, a study in rats found that contractile activity of lymphatic vessels is functionally impaired with the developing of increasing blood pressure. So as your blood pressure rises, the ability of your lymphatic vessels to contract is functionally impaired. That's why we have to get the blood pressure down. That's why I'm so interested in these pranayama practices, these breathing practices that are potentially altering blood pressure in our clients and anyone who has hypertension. So let's talk about Om and Aum. There are two little bit different words. If you really wanted to have a rich discussion about it, each one means something a little different. The basic idea is that it's either a mantra for one of the chakras. It's the name of the universal vibration, the very first universal vibration. There's a lot of deep, rich research you can do just into understanding and joyfully learning about Om and Aum. But let's look at some research about how this chanting of Om is going to affect the body. So you see a little bit on the right, I kind of cut off the labels of all the different parts of the nervous system. That's not so important, just important to understand that this is the nervous system related. And there are unexpected cardiovascular oscillations at 0.1 hertz during slow speech guided breathing, which is Om chanting, at 0.05 hertz. So chanting the word Om or Aum may activate neural structures involved in attention, emotions, and control of the autonomic nervous system. When researchers recorded the effects of chanting Om at 0.05 hertz, which is the 20-second breath. Remember, we learned about 0.1 hertz, which is the 10-second, that 5-second inhale, 5-second exhale. So half of that is a 20-second breath. They found that Om and Aum chanting at the breathing frequencies of about 3 breaths per minute, so that 20-second breath, resulted in the 0.1 hertz oscillations in the systolic blood pressure, and concluded that chanting Om at this slow rate does synchronize the cardiorespiratory and blood pressure oscillations. So what happens during Om chanting? Chanting results in a slower breathing rate, increased airway resistance because we're making a sound, so we're using our airway resistance to make a sound. The body contracts the larynx in order to produce the vibration of the different sounds in the word Om, which increases the vagal tone because the vagus nerve is here. It increased the vagal tone results in arousal of the body's parasympathetic nervous system, that relax and digest, rest and digest nervous system that we want to be in as much as possible. So the technique used in the study that gives us all this information involved chanting Om, and you vocalize, so this is in the 15 seconds of chanting, you vocalize the O or the AU sound for 1/3 of the time, and the M side for the other 2/3 of the cycle. So each Om or Aum cycle was 20 seconds. The total practice took 5 minutes. So we're inhaling for 5 seconds, We are saying O, O for the other 5 seconds, and then we're saying for the other 10 seconds. So let's try it. This is our breath work for this class. So I'll invite you to begin in a relaxed yet alert position. Your eyes can be open or closed. We'll start by having you exhale fully as I pull up my stopwatch. And then we're going to, you'll see the action part of it is in the bold. So if you forget midway during the practice, you just look at what we're doing in bold. So we're inhaling for 5 seconds, we're saying the O for 5 seconds, and we're saying the M for the last 10 seconds of the exhale. And we're breathing in for 5 seconds and then starting it over again. So 3 breaths per minute, 5 minutes total. I will keep the time. So go ahead and start exhaling and inhale for 5. 1 minute left. Okay, and that was our last one. So let's learn a little bit more about this 0.1 hertz plus sound. So the Hail Mary recited in a group where the leader will recite half the Hail Mary and then the congregants will recite the other half, also gives this 0.01 hertz, as well as the chant of Om Mani Padme Hum also gives that hertz. So let's look at breathing exercises for pain management in cancer survivors. It's a systematic review. And in this study, researchers found that Hey-Hu breathing techniques were effective for pain management in pediatric care patients. So let's look a little bit at the Hey-Hu breathing technique. So it starts with taking a deep breath and exhale while whispering hey, and then inhaling deeply again and exhaling while whispering hu. So it's kind of like just a whisper. I don't know if you can catch it, but you can kind of see how this gentle breathing, and then we're, again, like we saw in the other research, we're activating this area through our vocalization. So in this research, it was on pediatric clients with cancer. It starts 1 minute before the procedure. They started this breathing and continued it until the end of the injection, until the end of the procedure. Okay, so we looked at a few different types of breathing, and we end like we always end with a mindful moment. So I'll invite you to think about what we learned in the class today. Think about anything that you're interested in, anything that really got you excited, any of this information that was exciting to learn because it was new, or anything you were reminded about. Any questions you might still have about this information, definitely leave them in the comments section of this YouTube video after we're done. And definitely tune into the next class where we'll actually practice the Brahmari pranayama that we kind of learned about today, the bee breathing. And think about whether you might use these techniques, the Om chanting or the Hey Hu breath, whether you might want to add these techniques as to your self-care toolbox, ways to relax, and tell a loved one, hey, if you're going to undergo a procedure, think about the Hey Hu breathing. If you're trying to increase nitrous oxide, reduce the blood pressure, would Om chanting work for them, especially if you have a yoga practice? And as we always end, we'll end with some 5-5 breathing. We'll inhale for a count of 5, exhale for a count of 5 for about a minute. I'll keep the time, and then we'll just start with an exhale. And then inhale. And exhale. 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 Last inhale. And your last exhale. You can return to breathing normally. And this is the part where I remind you, you can find the full 10-session free breathwork and lymphatic wellness classes on my YouTube channel. They're free. They're not going anywhere. Definitely learn at your pace. Use these hopefully for your self-care as a professional, as a yogi. And here are our research from today's studies that we looked at. Thank you and have a great day.